Good evening, everybody, and thank you guys for joining us this evening. I see we got Simply Jan Homestead, and you just subbed to the channel, so thank you so much. We got the Hillbilly Chicken Ranch. We got Kathy and Janet in here. Thank you, Janet, for being the moderator, and thank you to Heather from Milk and Honey Heritage Farms for joining us this evening.
Hello, everybody.
So, so sorry I'm late. That was my fault, and had to take care of some things, but we got it squared away, and we're here and we're ready to do this. So we're going to jump right in here and start asking Heather some very hard questions because she likes the hard questions.
But as long as it's not a game,
right, yeah. But yeah. First thing I want to know is what got you into farming, homesteading. What got you into that life?
It was more so a feeling, I think. Back when I was a kid, here and there throughout my life, my mom would have little small gardens, but we usually lived in the city, and I was always really interested in like family history, looking at the photos and trying to find out more and more in like historical buildings and antiques and things like that. And when I met my husband, I said, what I want, because I let him know exactly what I wanted. I'm like, I want land one day. I said, I want to go back to the ways that our great grandparents and our grandparents may have lived. Like, right. I want to go back. I want to, and of course, it took us a while to get to where we're at now. We've been where we are for 11 years, but before that, we had rented 5 acres that was not at our house. So we had horses, and we had started gardening and doing a orchard and things like that. So really, excuse me, it was like a feeling, or it was within me. I don't know. Like I've always wanted to get here. So I don't know if that's a good enough answer.
No, that's fine. So I can understand that part of it, wanting to get back to what my grandparents did. My parents, they were kind of like modern people, right? They grew a garden, they had flowers, but they weren't into canning. Dad, now in his later years, is doing what his mom and grandparents did, which is canning, right? But whenever I was a kid, he worked. So he didn't have a whole lot of time to be able to do that stuff, but he did grow a garden and he did teach me that much of it. But canning wasn't never there. Mom didn't really want to can or do anything. She liked the flowers and stuff like that. But she worked too, so I think it was just kind of that modern 90s family growing up, right? Where it was the beginning of having to have 2 parents, to have to work to have a 2-income household. Right. And, Dad there were 6 kids total, so there was a whole bunch of us and there was a lot of mouths to feed. So it took a lot of people it took both of them to work and stuff. Yeah. And so, I didn't really have that, but getting older and having listened to like my grandparents and my dad talk, about what he went through and what they went through, my grandparents went through growing up, that's what made me kind of want to get back into what they did. Right. And so I can totally understand where you're coming from and wanting to get back to what they done, because to me, it was so fascinating and while it was hard work, it was a more simplistic life,
Yeah. It's to me more rewarding.
Right. Absolutely.
Even though like on a typical day, I'm outside anywhere from 8 hours to 14 hours doing this, that, and whatever outside chore wise. And I don't complain. Right. I mean, maybe I'm sweating to death and I need to sit down for, 5, 10, 15 minutes and then get back at whatever it was. But to me, it's more rewarding.
Absolutely.
Than just going and buying, something somewhere else.
Well, you think about this. How many friends do you have that are like, hey, do you have any of that? Whatever that is, whether it's jams, jellies, canned green beans, whatever, right? All of our friends have something that they've tasted that we've done, that we've grown and canned or whatever by ourselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
and they like it so much that they request it by name. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That gives you a good feeling. You know,
Yeah.
that gives you a great feeling. You're like, yeah, you know, they liked it so much they wanted more of it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and so you're absolutely right. It is hard work, but it is more rewarding because, you know, you can look at the pantry and say, well, look at everything that we've put up. Look, you know, we grew it all, we put it all up, you know, and then your friends or family come and start asking for it by name. I mean, that there's no greater reward than that, I don't think.
Right. Like for instance, my salsa. I started making salsa, you know, going to like farmers markets and things like that before I had a big enough place to grow enough produce to make my own salsa. I mean, you can small scale, but I make like
Big batches.
salsa. Yeah. And so like I've been known for probably like 30 years. People still say, I miss your salsa. You know,
That's cool.
And I like it. The rewarding part about it is when they ask me about it, I know what I put in there.
Right.
I know what I did. I can't just say, well, on the shelf at such and such store you can get it.
Right. Exactly.
I have no clue what's in there, but it's so good.
Right.
But at least I can tell you, you know.
Yeah, right. And you're right. That is another good part about it. We can tell you what we put in it. You know, we know that there's nothing in there that's going to hurt you, harm you, you know, cause cancer later on down the road or whatever. Right. We know what we grew it with. Right. And so we know we didn't kill it with, you know, pesticides and herbicides and stuff. We know that our soil was good. We know that the food was good, and we know what we put in it to preserve it was fine. You know, and so that also makes you, you know, feel good about it. You know, that you are putting out good stuff that isn't going to hurt anybody. One of the other things I want to talk about is you don't just grow like garden stuff. You guys do farming stuff, right? Like you guys got cows, correct?
Yes. We have 19 cows. Yeah. So so we have a bull, and we have 5 mama cows, and we have Irish Dexter cows, which are a lot smaller than like say an Angus. So like an Angus beef cow, that's the most common cow, you can keep that cow on a 1 acre. Pasture, right?
Right.
Just 1 per acre.
Right.
But with the Irish Dexters, you can do 2 per acre.
That's nice.
Of course, you want to have like 2, you know, like if you had 2 Irish Dexters in 1 acre, it would be preferable to have 1.5 acres, 2 acres, so you can rotate. You know that. So that's I did a lot of homework and studying before we got the property. I knew we don't have pigs right now, but we did for like 5 years. I knew exactly what kind of pig I wanted. I knew what kind of watering system, housing. Same with the cows. And I have 2 goats. I have Nubians. You have Nubians.
Yep, I got Nubians.
Yeah, I have a doe and a wether.
Okay.
So really looking forward to trying to get
a buck.
Well, I think I'm going to breed her this fall, and you know, outsource her. There's someone pretty close to me that has registered Nubians.
Okay.
So I think I'm going to try it out and see how it goes with the whole experience, because I've not, like you, when I was growing up, I lived in the cities and we moved a lot. I knew nobody who did canning or preserving. My grandma did sewing, but we weren't always near my grandma. So, you know, I did not get any skills. I had to self-teach myself.
Right.
Self-taught, whatever you call it, you know? So, yeah. So, we got the cows. I've got chickens. It's the first time I've ever had chickens. I've had them since 2021. So we kind of went backwards. We went from large animal down to small. So we went horses, cows, and then what else? The goats, and then the chickens. So
that's funny. So it's horse math instead of chicken math. It's horse math.
Well, the horses were my husband's thing.
Okay.
So I was more so the caretaker, the love on it and brush it and stuff like that, because we were in a bad car accident. How many years ago was it? 24 years ago, and I dislocated my leg, my lower half of my leg, because my kneecap hit the seat in front of me, and I busted it off the hinges with my knee because the trunk hit us, and then we crashed into it. But anyways, long story short, all of that, I'm fine, but my leg, like if you grab the back of your ankle and hold your ankle up behind you, like the stretch,
right,
I can't do that with that leg.
Right.
So sometimes like getting on, say, a horse and putting my leg over, I feel nervous that I won't be able to slip it over.
Right.
Fast. Like I can climb mountains, I can squat, I can,
right,
do stuff. I think more so it's anxiety, maybe.
Right.
That I'm gonna like trip up or fall or not be able to do it right in time.
Right.
That type of thing.
Get you a picnic table, put your horse over by the picnic table and stand on the top of the picnic table and get up on it.
Well, we did get one of those step thingies where you can step up on the steps. That did help. So, but we've since gotten rid of the horses because we didn't really have enough time to be riding because of doing all the other things.
Right. So. I love horses.
Riding. I do too. They smell. I like their smell.
Yep, the smell. I love the way their nose feels.
So soft. Yeah,
so soft. Like everything. I love when a horse comes and nuzzles on you, like pushes up against you. I just love horses. I could do horses all day long.
Yeah, our first horse was a 17 hands high Palamino. He was huge.
That's big Palamino.
He was huge. And the kids would run underneath him and everything. He just watch him. He was
crazy.
Cool. He passed away when he was 31. We had the papers, and then we got him, he came with Appaloosa, not Appaloosa. Oh my gosh, what's the brown one with the white?
The Blaze.
Quarter horse. Sorry, quarter horse. He had papers, and we had to have him put down when he was 33.
Oh wow.
With papers, yeah. So
that's crazy.
That was hard. We had a few others, in between there that we, gave away or something,
Right.
So, yeah. So
did y'all have them the entire time?
From
the time they were young?
No, the two that came together, we actually got them from a friend. We paid, I think, $1,000 for the two together. And the husband was like a truck driver, and he'd be gone for months on end, and he'd come back, and he, I think, was a drinker or something, and he would hobble and like punch the quarter horse.
Right.
Well, the quarter horse was proud cut. Do you know what proud cut is?
No.
So proud cut's when they use a horse and they breed it for so long and then they fix it.
Oh, wow.
So he had the experience of being a stallion.
Right.
Until a certain age, and then he was fixed. And then
gelding.
Yeah. So it took a lot of, he was a great horse. He was high speed. So when you would ride him, you had to be an experienced rider.
Right. I get that.
Yeah. So
that's cool.
He ended up having heaves, which is a horse allergy where he would like yellow snot.
Right.
And so when we first got him, we had him at a stables, and they made us get a vet to test it, and they took samples and did all the stuff and everything because they're like, oh, he's contagious. He wasn't contagious because I had already done my research, and it was just that he couldn't eat. He had allergies. He couldn't eat hay because hay would be like somewhat dusty. So he ate hay pellets or like
Right.
Yeah. So,
like alfalfa pellets or something.
Right. And he lived until he was 33.
That's cool.
Yeah, but they were already like 11 and 15 or something like that when we first got him.
Okay.
They were already, mid-age.
Right.
So
horses live a long time. Whenever I was a kid, my mom and dad started getting me riding, and over at the Babcock, it's a state park, it's here, and I was 5 years old. So there was a horse that was over there, and he was a oh goodness, an Arabian, black Arabian, and his name was Jubal. And when I was 5, I was riding that horse. And when I was 26, it was the last year I rode him because he died at the age of 30. Great horse though. And I rode that horse every year except for the years I was in the Army. So my whole life, from the time I was 5 to I was 26. So that was like, yeah, it was awesome. And that was the best horse ever. Never have rode another Arabian, but if I ever get the chance, I will definitely ride another one. They were that horse was such a good ride. I mean, it was awesome. He not a huge horse, you know what I mean?
Right.
So it was nice for me because I'm not a very big dude, you know. So, but after that, I thought, well, you know what? There's no other horses here that really suit my fancy. So I said, give me the most orneriest, stubbornest horse y'all got. And it happened to be one called Whopper. He was, 19 and 1 hand high is what they called him. And he was goodness, what's the working horses?
Clydesdale?
No, it looks like a Clydesdale, but don't have the fur on the feet. Golly day.
Yeah, they're big. They're huge.
Yeah. He's like 19 and 1 hands high, 19.1 hands high. And he was huge. And anyhow, I'll think of the name at some point. But anyways, his name was Whopper. They had one other one whose name was King, and he was 18 hands high. But King was just an old laid back black horse. He was big, but he was just chill. And they was like, well, you want the honoring one, you know, the Whopper's the honoring one. We can't get him to do anything. We'll take him on the trail. If he wants to eat, he just stops and eats, and you can't get him to do nothing.
Yeah.
And I said, I'll get him to do something. So that whole time, my wife can attest to this.
A Morgan?
No, not a Morgan. And it wasn't a draft maybe it was a draft. Maybe it's a draft.
A draft horse.
Yeah, maybe it was a draft horse.
Logs and stuff.
Yeah. That sounds right. It wasn't. I know it wasn't a Shire, so I think it was a draft. And but he was just so big, and he'd go to eat, and I would pull that bit, and he would shake it off and still grab and eat. By the end of that ride, we were both wore out. You know, I ain't kidding you. We was both wore out. And
well, you asked for it.
Yeah, I asked for it, but they said whenever we got there, they said, hey, we ain't never brought him back, and him want to go straight back to the barn.
He just wanted to keep going.
Yeah. Usually he just went, but not after I was done with him.
Right.
He wanted to go right back to the barn that day because we wanted to take pictures with him, right? And in fact, I got a picture. I'm going to have to put the picture up on my community page of me and my wife because she's on hers and I'm on mine, and we had them facing each other. Anyhow, he wanted to go straight back to the barn. He didn't want to take pictures that day. He was ready to go back.
I'm done.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said. So I ended up riding that horse 2 more times after that. And that horse rode great for me. And they said,
say no.
Yep,
get away with whatever.
That's exactly right. He rode perfectly fine for me the next 2 times. And they were like, everybody since he did the same exact thing. But that day when I got on him, I didn't, maybe once or twice, he'd stop to eat or do something I didn't want him to do. And no more of it. I'd pull on that bit and get him straightened out. He was a great horse after that.
And they remember you, even if it's long periods, years.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool. I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, he did great with me. And then those people ended up having to quit. And they, like I said, they had been there since before I was 5. 5 is just whenever I started riding, but they had been at Babcock since before that. I think they had been there since 1979 is what they had said. And I'd been riding since I was 9. Huh?
Is that in Virginia?
West Virginia. Yep.
Okay.
And it's Babcock State Park is where it was at. But they had been there since I think 1979. I started riding in 1990. But anyhow, this was in 2010, I think, or 11 was whenever they had to quit. But yeah, then another group took it over, and it went downhill. It wasn't the same. So we quit riding horses there and had to go ride horses everywhere else. But yeah, I love riding horses. I could do that every day. I tell my wife, I said, I think I was born to be a cowboy, but my mom and dad raised me in the wrong place, you know? And so, cause I want to go on a cattle drive one day before I get too old.
Well, it's probably in your DNA. I mean, if you think about it, your great grandparents and going backwards, they all rode horses and farmed and preserved and all things you're trying to learn.
Right. I love it. So I got a friend here, Bobby Knight, and he goes and rides horses for people during the week. Like if you've got horses, but you don't have time to ride them, you hire Bobby, and Bobby comes to the place. He shoes them, he rides them. You know, he'll work them or whatever, right? And so Bobby lets me tag along sometimes and stuff. And I'm just like, you know, he'll call and say, "Hey, you want to go?" Yeah, I want to go. Let's do it. You know, because I'm game for that anytime.
Well, that's neat.
Yeah, it is. So you know, that's a lot of fun. I'm trying to let me go a little bit more often. You know. So he has to watch, I guess, because he's an actual business. You know what I mean?
Right. He doesn't want something to happen, and then
Right. Yeah. So he don't want to get in any trouble with the people who he works for. Yeah. So he lets me come when it's the cool people. He calls them the cool people. You know, because they're evidently in the horse community. There's a lot of snubby people. Okay, who you just can't be any old Joe Blow get on the horses. You know. So Yeah. So I guess
like no other.
Yeah. I guess there's this one particular one that he works for who he brought hay for, and he told them that it was not certified horse hay. It was horse hay, but not certified horse hay. And he got the hay for him at a discount price. And they just, I guess they really gave him the business for bringing him that hay, that junk hay. Yeah. But I mean, it was, to me, I looked at the hay. I mean, heck, I'd have fed that to my horses. I mean, my goats would have thought that was a Cadillac. You know what I mean? And
we got a small, like 14 hands little Appaloosa after we moved here. And we got the horse from a gal up at a stable. She was like 21 and she was getting into car racing.
Right.
And she was doing college, and so she just didn't have the time for the horse. But she gave me this huge bag of dried raspberry leaves.
Oh,
and
wow.
every day she'd give in the morning and at night a little pinch of the raspberry leaves.
That's cool. I wonder if they taste good to us.
Actually, raspberry tea has a lot of like antioxidants and things like that. So if you have raspberries, dry the leaves out for
cool. I didn't know that. I'll have to try that out. Mm-hmm. I know you don't have pigs, but what kind of pigs did you have?
We had Berkshire.
Okay.
So Berkshire, they're a medium-sized pig, and they don't grow super fast like, you know, the what is it called? The big pink pigs.
Oh, Gloucesters?
Yeah, something like that. Or anyways.
Durocs aren't. Durocs are different colored.
Duroc and Berkshire mix, I heard, is very good, but Durocs can be, they eat chickens.
Yeah.
And they can be a little more aggressive. But the Berkshires are a well-marbled meat. It's like one of the number ones where there's, you know, not too much fat content. So that's one thing I think people forget to look at when they're buying a pig to raise or a pig to put up. Like, what breed of pig is it? Because some pigs are more lard.
Right. Absolutely.
Well,
like my pigs.
Bucket list.
My pigs are lard pigs, is what they consider coonies, even though they're well known for their prosciutto and some other things that they make from them. They are more of a lard pig. Mm-hmm. So you don't get, I guess, as much meat out of them. But I can tell you right now, the meat that I've seen cut off of them and the meat that I've had off of them is by far some of the best pork I've ever ate.
Well, and it's also what you feed them.
That is true.
We used to sell runts to people, and there was this guy a couple miles up the road, and he's like, well, my meat was all fat. would feed him. Well, he was getting free donuts and bread from somewhere.
Right.
And feeding
You're
John.
putting fat on them, yeah.
No, I'm feeding mine garden scraps.
Right. Yep.
With the feed. Like
mine, I literally feed mine hay.
Yeah, and they'll eat some hay. We did some hay too.
Coonies are a pasture pig. So they eat a lot of grass, you know. So I don't have a lot of grass, so I got to give them hay.
They're so fun.
They're a lot of fun. Although mine haven't bred, and for whatever reason, the boar is not breeding my two my two females. He's 3, and Petunia's 3, and Petunia's 3, and Violet is 2, and he won't breed either one of them. I know whenever they were younger, Petunia he would try to breed Petunia, and Petunia was really mean to him about it, you know,
because she wasn't ready. That's normal.
Yeah, and now he just won't do anything.
Yeah.
So I've considered getting rid of all 3 of them and putting them in the freezer, and then just turning it all into a goat pen, a huge goat pen, and just breed goats.
Yeah. But you could get like 2 a year or something and just raise them up.
Right. Could, you know, but now they're getting to where they're so expensive to buy 2 a year, you know, or at least here they are, you know, like you can't find one for like under $175. It used to be you get piglets for $50 a piece, you know, now it's like 100.
What was it? So back about 9 years ago, I was selling my piglets for $150.
Right.
At 8 weeks old.
That was pretty good.
You know? I'm in Oregon. So
right.
My prices are higher than I believe in West Virginia.
Right. Yeah, because like
not my prices, but Oregon.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Now they're like, you know, you can't find a piglet for under $175, and I'm like,
oh my gosh,
to me that's expensive, especially when it's just run of the mill pig. You know, now if it was like a cooney or an Idaho pasture pig, or you know, something that was a little bit more, you know,
special,
right?
Heritage.
It's just a run of the mill plain Jane pink pig that everybody can get.
Yeah, you know? Like American guinea hog.
Yeah, you know, right.
Yeah,
you know, it's just I just don't see paying $175 for it. You know,
yeah.
But you know, something that's a little bit more special or whatever. Yeah, I mean, you could pay some money for it, but you know, I don't know. Even goat prices have went up. You know, I was lucky enough to have a good neighbor, you know, who is like, he knows that if he wants to breed any of mine, that, you know, or if I have that breeding of that buck and doe, specific ones that he ends up wanting a kid off of, right, that I'll give it back to him for a decent price, you know what I mean? Or he can breed to my buck or whatever. Like, he knows that, you know, so he hooked me up with registered, you know, goats for really cheap, you know. Normally the goats that he has, you're not going to pay less than, for a kid, you know, you're not going to pay less than like $500 to $800 for them, you know, and they just go up from there, you know. But he let me have the buck for $100, and he let me have the doe for $300, you know. So I mean, that's super cheap, you know. And then I just bought another doe off of him for $150. So yeah, she had a parrot mouth. You ever seen a parrot mouth goat?
No.
So instead of having an underbite where their jaw comes out like this, they have an overbite, and it makes it look like a parrot.
Kind of like what is it on The Simpsons? This Smithers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Or Mo at the tavern.
Right. So just like so. Yeah, I mean, there. You know, he knows that he couldn't get any money for it. You know what I mean? Because there's no way you could show it, because but it would do what I want it to do, which is produce milk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if it produces good offspring,
she can chew just fine, right?
Yeah. She chews just fine. Ain't nothing wrong with her. She just don't look good, so people won't buy her for a show goat. You know, but she'll still produce good babies, and she'll still, you know, produce milk. So it suits my purpose just fine, because I'm not into showing goats. I just want milk. So what kind of chickens do you have?
Me, oh my goodness, I have so many chickens. At Rhode Island, I got like a big variety when I first got my chickens because I wanted to, it was my first time having chickens and I wanted to see what kinds that I wanted,
Right.
what seemed better, you know. So I have, let's see, the green and blue. What are they called? The green and blue. Oh my gosh, what are they called?
Easter eggers?
No, but they're kind of, but one's green and one's blue.
Americanas.
I do have Americanas, yes. What are they? I don't remember what they're called. Also, what else do I have? I have some Beulah Felders.
Them are cool.
I really like Beulah Felders. They're bigger and
Right.
like they just seem like just so easygoing.
Right.
Rhode
Like
Island,
Brahmas.
right? The Rhode Island Reds, I wasn't really impressed with.
No, I had production reds, and
Yeah,
I liked the production, but the rooster was mean as all get out, and I mean just a real yeah.
yeah,
And here's what's funny: none of the roosters are really ever mean to me. I've only had one or two that's been brave enough to hit me, but they always go after the kids and the wife. And yeah, and what? Let me see. It was 2 years ago, so Kira would have been 4. And one of them attacked her. And I said, all right, we're going to solve this problem. I went and got the 410. I said, you ready? She said, give it to me, Daddy. And I said, all right. But she took that thing. I had to stand behind her, but she took that thing and leveled off. Boom! And shot. She said, I got that thing. And went over and grabbed him, picked him up, was holding him. She said, you ain't attacking nobody no more. You know, pointing that little finger at him and stuff. And yeah, I got it.
My rooster jumped at my leg one time and it freaked me out. My foot went up when it did. I'm like, oh my gosh, it went flying. And I managed to get out of, we had a makeshift run. This was like right at the beginning. And I started bringing my rake in and I was like, yeah,
I see you.
Come on. And he would just watch me and stay back because he knew
I
would give it to him. Like, I don't think so.
Yep.
Not.
That's what I tell them all the time. I said, y'all got to know, they got to know who the boss is. Like when I go inside that pen, literally every rooster that's in there runs to the opposite side. They don't come after me. They run to the opposite side and wait for me to leave. Then they come out and do their thing, As soon as they see them come in, though, they run toward them, and stuff. I said, y'all don't show that you're scared of them. You know what I mean?
They just need one of because I've got one of these long handled rakes that has just like a little plastic rake head on it.
Right.
Maybe you need to bring that in with them. Come
on. Yeah. It's funny. Yeah. They carry little bamboo sticks with them a lot. Like I got a lot of bamboo sticks that I use to put up, the tomatoes and stuff with. And so they got bamboo with them all the time. And here lately, I've been finding bamboo busted up all over the yard. And I said, what are y'all doing with all this bamboo? Well, that chicken got out after me again, and I was swatting at him to get him away from me. And they're busting it up, hitting the ground, trying to chase him away. Yeah, so they all carry bamboo stick with them now. But they're funny. I love kids watching them around the chickens and stuff. But if you ain't careful though, they can get you. They can get you pretty bad. Because my wife has gotten hit in the leg. She's had shorts on and got hit, and one of them had spurs. And after that, I had to start removing the spurs.
Yeah, I had thick blue jeans on that day that rooster went on me. He barely got me, but it like pricked me through my pants. Yeah. So I saw a question up here about the if I've seen the Needy Homesteaders rainbow eggs. Yes. I don't have all the colors she has. She has like quite the nice collection. But when I sell eggs to people, I color coordinate.
Right.
So I'm like light brown, like I do it like nice.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I got pink, I got blue, I got green, I got light brown. I have tried and tried and tried and tried and tried. to get them French copper Marron.
Oh, yeah.
And every stinking time I get them, the chicks will die. Don't matter. I've gotten them up to like, I don't know, probably 8 to 10 weeks old, fully feathered out, you know?
Yeah.
And every time I have tried them, they've died every time.
That's
and
weird.
Yeah, I bet you I'd have to ask Annie, but I would say we've tried them at least 5 to 6 times, and every time they die. So, well, it's just like her and Polish chickens. She's bought tons of Polish chickens. I bet she's probably spent $1,000 on Polish chickens in the past 2 years.
I have one, and it's the black one with the white
poof. Yep.
Poof, and I call it Dingling.
They look weird, don't they?
And I don't know, it's never laid in the nesting boxes, and no.
Yeah.
And the eggs are little itty bitty.
Yeah, tiny. Yeah.
And
we're working on a few different breeds now that we've been making, like crosses with the silkies and the millifleurs that we have, and then we've been working the silkies and the naked necks, and then the silkies and the millifleurs, or excuse me, the millifleurs and the naked necks. So now and then we did a cross with the Polish bred into the silky naked neck, or no, the Polish bred into the naked neck millies. So
that'll be interesting.
It is. They're really, really pretty birds. Like, they are white with lavender spots on them.
I like the lavender.
Yeah, they're super pretty, but they're just kind of where they're F1s. I guess I don't know what you would call them. I guess it'd be F1. I mean, in plants they would be called an F1. All right, so your first generation of a cross is your F1.
Yeah,
but I guess that's what you would call them in an animal. I have no idea, but anyhow, it's yeah, they're weird looking, you know. I mean, they're not weird. They're pretty, but they're different, right? Like, everybody's, oh, what are those? Well, one lady specifically come out here and she said, I like the look of them birds. I said, okay. She was like, what do you want for them? I don't know. You know, she was like, well, no, what do you want? I was like, I don't know. Why? She was like, well, I'll buy as many as you want. She was like, I want them birds. Like, she was dead because they got feathers on their feet too. Like, I have to see these pictures. They're real pretty. Anyhow, I sold, oh God, I don't even remember.
What color eggs do they lay? Do you know?
Well, I don't know yet because they're not laying yet.
Not yet.
Yeah, these crosses aren't laying. So we had been working on the cross between the silky and the naked neck, and we've got that worked out. And then we've been working on the millifleur and the cochin, and we got those laying.
I have a cochin. I didn't order it. They just said it was an extra, and I couldn't tell if it was a male or a female.
Right.
And I named it something.
It ended up being a male.
Well, because she was mean to all the other girls and she was fitting to something. Anyways, she then crowed, but I kept the name, still the female name I gave her. Anyways, but my other rooster, he actually all of a sudden after 2 years decided to go after him and injured him pretty good. So,
oh no,
he's no longer.
Yeah, with us.
Yeah,
rest in peace.
Yeah, so we just have Chicken George.
We had Chicken George. But yeah, the crosses they're fun to make, especially if you can prove them out and you do good with them.
You know, it's not a barnyard mix.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, it's specific breeding. You know what I mean? To like I found the millifleur silky cross page, right? And started doing that, working with the millifleurs and the silky crosses. Those are very, very pretty. And the thing is what, you know, is what I was telling my wife. I said, we need to have the birds that produce the eggs that we eat. Selling eggs around here is a dime a dozen. We're not going to make any money selling eggs because everybody and their brother has eggs around here for sale. So we don't need to corner the market on selling eggs. You know what I mean? We need to make enough eggs that we can consume and eat, and we're happy and healthy, and we don't have to worry about buying eggs. All right. But what we do need to corner the market is specialty birds and
Right.
birds that can get into the market that we have created by ourselves, not mimic the creation, right? Not said, okay, well, this is what they took and got this creation, but create our own stock, our own birds that then prove out, and then we can get them into mainstream, which then goes into the hatcheries. Then we could sell the rights to those birds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the thought process that we have behind it, and trying to prove out these crosses and stuff. And that's why when this lady come to me, she's like, "Oh, I got to have them birds. I want them birds." And I'm like, "I want them birds so bad for?" I'm like, like what's the special? But she paid well for them. I mean, she bought a slew of them and paid good for them. And they weren't anything that we were wanting to keep, because we kept everything we wanted to keep out of those. They were all the ones that would have been culled out anyhow. But yeah, I mean, it's fun to do those things.
Heavenly Hills hens.
Yeah, there you go. That's funny.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is. I mean, that's what you got to think of when you're a homesteader. You got to think of how you can make a profit. How you can be profitable, right? And if you know that you're not going to make money selling eggs because there's too many people selling eggs around you, then you have to figure out what it is that you can sell in that area, and corner the market on it,
Right.
And so, that was the first thing popped into my head, was specialty chickens and just making your own breed of chicken and having fun with it, because it is fun.
Yeah. Well, like so many people throughout my life always said, focus on one thing for your business.
Yep.
And I'm like, no, because if nobody all of a sudden wants that, even if that was a hot ticket item that sells that one thing, there's going to be everybody who's got that thing, and you're going to have a lapse of nobody getting that one thing, or it's going to go out of style. Like, you have to have a variety of things to sell. Like, it's, like whatever you're doing, you can't just be one. I don't know. It's like putting all your eggs in one basket.
Right. You don't want to be a one trick pony, So, but let's see. She says, excuse me, Dorothy says she lives in a tiny town and they think they're allowed 6 chickens, and they've considered it. Just setup would have to be impenetrable, so cats or something wouldn't get in there. There's you can get these there's several different ones online I've seen, like diagrams or blueprints rather, of chicken coops that you can, some people let you have them for free. Some places you got to pay for the blueprint, but what you want is something that they can't dig under. So you either have to put the chicken wire 1 foot to 2 foot down below. So if they dig, they can't dig under it. Or what I do is I just lay chicken wire on the bottom floor, so if they do dig, they can't dig under and up because they're going to run into the chicken wire that's laying on the floor. And that's how I do mine, so they can't get underneath there that way. Now, I will tell you this. It doesn't matter if it's on the floor. It doesn't matter if it's in the ground. All those things, chicken wire, rabbit wire, they will rot at some point. They will rust and rot, and you'll have to redo it. So I've got chicken wire out there right now that is 4 years old on the main coop that we have, and it's starting to rot out now where it's been in contact with the ground, and so it's going to have to be redone. So just keep that in mind, that it's safe, and will keep your birds safe for a few years, but after a while it will break down, and you'll have to, especially with them pooping and peeing all over it, and got all that manure built up on it, and you're having to clean it all out and everything, and all that deep bedding and stuff. It'll rot a lot quicker. So you have to keep it, check on it. But yeah, I mean, 4 years is pretty good. And then you just go in there and relay you some new stuff and be all good with it. So that's how we do it.
Yeah. And I like your idea about going online and seeing if you can find free prints, or even if it's, cheap, to buy the blueprints to build your own. Because if you go and you buy one of those ones from one of the farm supply stores, they're so thin.
Yep.
They're only going to last you a year or two before they
Right.
start falling apart. So build your own. And if you collect pallets, you can use the wood from the pallets.
Yep.
You know.
So you brought up a great point there. I never recommend buying any of them from Royal King or Tractor Supply or any place. Here's the thing. You're going to pay $500 for something that you could keep 3 to 5 chickens in. Okay.
Yep.
There's first of all, for $500, I can literally build something that holds 40 or 50 chickens in it for $500. Okay.
Well, shoot, for 50 to $100, you can look on your local community pages.
Yep.
And find one that's the same size, if not a little bigger, or a shed. That's what we did, because we got ours in 2021 and the wood prices were,
way high. Yeah.
So the shed, which, back in the day, building your own shed would have been cheaper and stronger and better.
Right.
But it was the option we did. And I just built my nesting boxes outside of the shed.
Right.
So that way I saved more room inside the shed.
There you go. That worked.
Yeah. It came with 2 windows, and then I did a makeshift screen door on the front so I can open it up during the day, for more airflow.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and just like my little addition that I did. So I did that addition onto the chicken coop there for, I think it was.
Oh yeah, I remember.
I think it was under $200, I think is what I said.
Yeah.
And it was a big addition, It
was.
So, I mean, and here's the thing. If you guys got people who are, cutting, got little small mom and pop shops that are cutting their own wood, there's tons of people who have got sawmills, whether you know it or you don't. Guaranteed, if you check within a 50-mile radius of you, you can find rough cut lumber for a very decent price. And get anything you want, 2x4s, 2x6s, 1x6s, 1x8s, and build you a nice enclosure for very, very fair price, and have fun doing it. Or like you said, you can go get pallets. But I will say this with the pallet. If you get pallets, you better get you one of those pallet pry bar things that are specifically made for tearing a pallet apart, because they are, or a sawzall, because they are super, and I do mean super hard to get apart without something like that. So I would recommend that.
I did an event several years back in my barn where me and my husband pre-made pallet signs for painting on. Right. And so I had a bunch of people come and be able to do that with stencils and stuff like that. So we pre-made all of them so that they didn't have to wait, and it was ready to go. So, and also, there might be furniture on the side of the road. You know what I'm saying? Something that looks, you don't really want to put it in your house, but there's decent enough amount of wood on it. I mean, things like that,
right. Yeah. There's people don't understand about repurposing and reusing. Dorothy mentioned a little bit ago, and thank you for this comment. She said something about me reusing those bags in my little Four Seasons patch that I use there to put the mulch down on. I try to look at everything, and my wife is like, "Gosh, you're such a hoarder." And it's not that I'm hoarding. I'm trying to see, y'all got enough trash that you throw away every day, right? Now, when I say y'all, I mean the kids. Okay, we're only allowed 8 bags of trash a week. All right. If I put everything in the trash, y'all would have 8 bags of trash. They pick it up on Wednesday. Y'all would have it filled by daggone Saturday. Okay. There would be 8 bags. Okay. So yeah, I save feed sacks because there's a lot you can do with a feed sack. You know what I mean? And I save the plastic bags and stuff that my mulch and stuff comes in.
I'm the same way too. I'm like, if it isn't broken,
right,
I can use it.
Right, exactly.
I have wine bottles that my sister-in-law knew people that own some bars, and so I have probably 300 to 500 wine bottles, and I don't drink wine. They're empty,
right?
But what I want to do is the rebar fence where you do the wine bottles.
Yeah. Make them
Like
twist it every.
I want to do that in my orchard.
That'd be pretty.
Someday.
That'd be real pretty.
It's probably more of a late fall project for me at this point because I'm really busy.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
but, I mean, things like that, you think about it. It's free. You done paid for the product. You might as well get as much out of the product as you can.
Yeah.
Okay. If I've already paid for the feed, all right, I paid for that feed sack too. So I might as well get something out of it. I have literally used that stuff for insulation in the coops. I've used it for insulation in my buildings and everything, right? Like, I mean, it works.
I've made shopping bags with them. I've cut half of it out because sometimes they're really cool looking feed bags.
Yeah, they are.
Put it in the tack room on the wall.
Oh, that's cool.
Just for, a picture.
Yeah, right. That would be cool. Like you could take and put it on what's those things that they stretch like they got wood, like it's like a wooden frame, and then they stretch stuff on it and then staple it on the back and then frame it around. Like you can do that too. Make it, or it's just like the window that you got behind you, Yeah,
that's repurposed. I did nothing but chip off loose paint and then I put Mod Podge on it.
Right. And it looks good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's tons of stuff, but the problem is we've become so accustomed in America to just getting what we want from the store. We're not programmed to repurpose anymore. We're not programmed to be like our grandparents where they looked at something and said, "Oh, I can use that for something else." We just automatically throw it in the trash, and then when we need it, we go buy it. Well, you had it in your hand. You literally had it in your hand, a few months ago, but you had it, and you threw it away, all but to go back and go get it again. Why buy weed fabric whenever I have bags that I can put down that I'm just going to bury? I'm going to bury the weed fabric with mulch anyways.
Yeah.
So why not just put the bags down and bury it? Why go buy weed fabric to do it?
Yeah. Yeah. And we haven't had garbage service. We've never had garbage service since we've lived here. We could if we wanted to.
Right.
But we don't. I would have to haul it down the long driveway and set it by the edge of the road. And then, because we have gate, like you can pull into the driveway and there's gates. So you would have to open the gates to drive in because we get people that will just drive in here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But before we moved here, I started recycling and repurposing and, I have so many glass jars and stuff that I use for all of my dried raspberry leaves or whatever dried stuff.
Right.
But I have 4 garbage cans in my garage and I separate all the stuff, right? The cardboard, the plastics, the glass. And then every 2 to 2.5 months, we go to the dump with that. And it costs $25.
That ain't bad.
That's it. Versus $80 for a garbage can.
Yeah. Because I know here we pay like $20 a month for trash service. We get 8 bags of trash a week. All right. And and it's just like, and now because of everything going up, they keep putting a surcharge on us now. Mm-hmm. And every few months we're getting another $2.22 charge for, another, an additional surcharge to the one before that. And it's like, hang on a minute. Well, gas prices are still going up. Well, that ain't my fault,
Yeah, no, I don't do landfill. I do have my own compost. So everything like the plastic, if there's any plastic packaging for like meat, and so everything's rinsed.
Right.
So everything that's in those recycling cans is no flies or anything nasty come of it. And then all my food, I compost. I have so much compost. I don't even know what to do with all my compost.
More gardening.
No, not this year. But I do want to build a pond
That would be cool.
We have some underground springs on a part of our property that come from different directions. I just need to figure out what I need to do to block it up. It used to, but then they put those clay things. They
Rent me
bury.
a dozer and I'll be out there. I'll come play. I like doing that stuff. That's fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I wanted to like flatten a couple of areas on either side of the pond and put sand.
Oh, yeah. Make like a little beach.
Yeah.
That would be cool. That'd be very cool.
There and do kind of like a food forest thing and have, different herbal plants and stuff like that down in that area. And nobody can see it from anywhere unless you were to walk up to the fence line.
Right. That would be very, very cool. Very cool.
That's my goal. Someday.
As soon as you hit the lottery.
One of my goals. Yeah. Well, it might be a trade kind of swap and trade kind of deal, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those are the best ways. Those work out real good.
Yeah, there's a few people. We just have to find out the ins and outs and whatnots of it.
Right.
So
that would be fun.
Yeah. So we can have our own fish.
Right.
Our source,
I have begged Annie to let me build a pond in here because she's always fussing about the ducks. And I said, well, ducks are trying to be ducks, honey. They just want water. They want to, I was like, let me build a pond. No, the kids will fall in it. They can swim. Yeah, I'll put a fence around it. Let me build one. No. I'm like, all right. Well,
thank you.
The other day.
So what if you put an island in your pond? Like, I don't know, a big rock or something right in the middle, and then
I could do that. I could do that.
Right? And then maybe like a few flat, longer pieces of rock around the edges for the fish to hide under and the kids to not.
Right. Yeah.
If that would help.
Right. Well, I've got two places where there are huge rocks that I can't move. I have found them. I've tried to dig them out. I couldn't even pull them out with a tractor.
Well, there you go. There's where your pond's going.
Right, exactly. Well, here's what I was going to tell you. So we got a heavy rain the other day, and it literally washed out my garden in one area. Like it rutted it like 15 to 18 inches deep.
Wow.
And washed it over into the neighbor's yard. And it looked like the Euphrates and the Tigris River on going like this and then met. And took it. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
That's crazy.
It was. Like I was not expecting. I was like, I'm out there shooting a video. It was in my pumpkin video, I think, that I posted a few days ago. I'm sitting there shooting video and I'm like, well, that ain't good. Because I didn't know it was there. I didn't know it happened, and it was right after a big rain. I'm like, crap. So I'm like, well, I don't know what to do with all that dirt. And then I'm like, well, now my neighbor's going to be upset because I flooded out in his yard,
Well, and that's an issue that may not happen every year.
Right.
But now it's an issue that can happen.
Yep. Because it's never happened before, But No, it had. Well, at least not with me. It hadn't.
Right.
I think that I tilled it so well with that tractor.
You created
that it just was so loose that it was just ready to erode, Yeah. And so that's what it did. As soon as it rained hard, it washed out.
Well, and that's the area for where I want to do the pond. If we do dig down, well then, because it kind of slopes down just in a part. If we dig any of it out, that'll cause erosion.
Right.
And so I'm like, how do I do this? And I'm like, I'll just build up the back end, plug it and build it up.
Right.
And put a pipe up so high. So if it gets too high, it can run off to where.
There you go.
Yeah.
That'd work. And that's kind of what I was thinking over here. I was like, well, we got that rock right there. And I can't move it out. And I don't really need the garden right here. What if I built the pond right here, and just blocked it up, and she probably won't let me.
Well, you could put a cute little fence around it, like a little white picket fence.
Yeah. I had mentioned that, but she was like, our kids would just hop it, so.
Well, I was thinking that's what I was thinking while I said it, but
we got ornery kids. They figure out stuff. But I mean, they can all. Well, the youngest one can't swim yet. He's too scared of water. We took them all to the. I got a little secret honey hole that I go fishing in, and I've never took them there, right? And yesterday I went there with my buddies yesterday morning, and we were fishing with leeches, and we caught some pretty good fish off of the leeches, and I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna come back here and bring the kids. And so yesterday I went and got them and took them there. And they were like, wow, have you never brought us here before? I was like, because it's a secret tag on it. Yeah. So, but they had a blast. And what it is, it's like this great big rock wall that's been stair stepped off. Oh. And the whole bottom it's in a river, but the whole bottom is nothing but that rock. It's just a smooth, flat rock, the entire bottom.
Cool.
Yeah. And
wouldn't you need to have like a cabin like near it?
Well, they do across the river from it.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. But, and the deepest part of that is probably 6.5, 7 foot, like at the deepest part of it right there on that river. But no, it's not bad at all. Yeah. So I got to post the video up, but the kids were out there having a blast yesterday in it, and what it is like, as it stair steps down, it gets deeper and deeper. The water does, like you got to walk down, like it's a hill with steps, goes all the way down to the water. The first little bit of water might be like an inch or two deep, and then it just keeps getting, stair stepping down, getting deeper and deeper. And it's super cool. It's got a rope swing and all kinds of stuff, but I never took them down there. I always took them to another little honey hole I got because it was a little bit closer to the house, but I was like, I'll bring them back here. I can't lie. It was selfish motive. I wanted to go catch more fish.
Like, so here we have a hard time because there's someone that owns quite a lot of the woods.
Right.
And they harvest a lot of the trees and then replant them.
Right.
But you have to have permits to go, and it's expensive.
Right.
And you're only allowed to do so many things on the land.
Oh.
So like camping and stuff like that, there's no free camping.
No. What?
Yeah, you have to pay, and a lot of times reserve camping spots like a week ahead in advance. Sure, there's people that camp for free, but they're not supposed to, Right.
But,
yeah. Isn't that crazy? They do have designated like trails, like Oregon's known for having a lot of trails and things like that you can walk on. Some of them you have to like pay for parking, and then you get to go.
Like here, there's only a couple spots where you can camp for free. The majority of it is all state parks and national parks, and you got to pay for it. But the few places that is free is pretty decent. But the problem is people go and trash up the free places, and then they end up closing them down, and they're no longer free, or you're no longer allowed to go anymore. Yeah. So that's always
sucked. I've had a lot of camps and things like that in a lot of those places.
Right.
A lot of trails and things like that. So there are a lot of, people that do like hike and stuff like that a lot. Often will, go and clean up and stuff like that. But
right.
It's just an ongoing thing at this point. Like,
yeah, just more riffraff. But so, what all do you got planned for this summer on your homestead?
So many things. Oh. So the part of my orchard, I'm not quite sure. I need to measure like how big my orchard is, because I also have like my honeybees and like all my like different types of berries and herbs and things like that too.
Right.
And it's kind of my secret garden.
Right.
So I have like 70 white lavender growing along one fence line, and then like part of the fence in the orchard goes along the road, and I have bulbs planted, and I don't know how long it is. I don't know, 200 or 300 feet long.
Wow.
And so, yeah, just staging and doing all that. But one project that I'm going to be doing, not this month, but in August, is some neighbors had a farm stand.
Right.
And the people who lived there before, and because it recently sold like a year ago, and now it's going to be getting sold again. Anyways, there's a farm stand that was never used, and they asked if I wanted it. So we went this weekend and got it.
That's cool.
So we took the top off, and I need to put like roof paper on it and some tin or some roofing of some sort on the plywood.
Right.
And then I'm going to put some old wooden windows and stuff on the side. I'm just going to do all kinds of stuff. So that's one project that I want to do outside my front gates because we have a little bit of space.
Right.
So when we bought our property, it had a pole barn, a garage, and a sand filter, and a septic.
Right.
That no house.
Oh.
No trees. No fencing.
This is barren, wasn't it?
Yeah, so we had to do all the fencing and all the trees. We've planted over, I think, somewhere between 400 and 500 trees around the border of the property.
Wow.
Yeah, and then yeah, and all the fencing and creating like it was like a blank canvas besides the pole barn. The pole barn had like the middle section, and then it had a big lean-to on each side of it that was open, like no walls. It just had the roof. Well, we enclosed them all, and we put bars, and so there's bars and there's sliders going outside and sliders going in when you go in. So we've got 4 stalls on one side, and we've got 4 on the other side that we put hay in.
Right.
So yeah, lots of stuff. So what else? I really want to do the pond, but I don't know. I don't think I'm going to be allowed to. I might have to wait another year.
Oh, come on! You got to be allowed to do
I have to get the right person in the right time of year to be able to bring the equipment down,
right,
without getting in trouble.
Right.
So I don't know. We'll see. What else? I've been making aprons.
That's cool.
I do eventually want to do like my own like website or something like that.
Right. You got any you can show us right now?
Do I? Maybe. Okay, hold on.
All right.
Hold on. I'm right here. I can still hear you.
Okay.
Or you can still hear me.
Yep.
I don't know if I have. I keep on making aprons and giving them away.
Oh, really?
Yeah. For giveaways and stuff.
It's hard to make money that way.
I've sold a few of them, but I haven't been saying anything because I'm getting my stock ready. I made this for my granddaughter.
Oh, that is cool.
It's got little vegetables.
I like that pumpkin.
Double pockets.
That's pretty.
Yeah.
That's very pretty.
There's a little girl that lives not far from here that's about the same age as my granddaughter, so I made them both the same one.
I'll buy if you make one like that for my little girl. I'll buy it from you.
You like the flower one? I have more of the same fabric.
Yeah, just email me how much it costs. I'll buy it from you and get one for my little girl.
But most of them are really plain. I have a few on my community page and stuff like that. So they're actually, I don't even know how to explain.
It looks really good.
Yeah, and then also I'm doing different skirts, kind of like vintage.
Oh, that's cool.
Vintage, kind of like.
My wife would like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so I'm actually, so I'm doing all kinds of different fabrics and things like that, patterns and stuff. And a lot of the fabric, some of it I buy new, but a lot of it I'll buy cheap at like thrift stores and stuff like that. Like that one there.
Yep.
And then I'll show you one more thing. I made this skirt out of some jeans. And they were all ripped up and everything. You can't wear them no more because it's gross.
Well, I don't know. People buy them like that now.
So I took the top part of
that's
my
cool.
jeans and
that's very cool.
Hearts and a bee, and then made it patriotic.
I like that a lot.
Is that cool?
That is very, very cool. That should do very good too.
Right? I'm going to try to enter it into the fair this year and see what happens.
Shoot,
but I use all kinds. I keep all my old worn out pants or anybody else's pants.
Right.
I just cut so I get the different variations of jean colors.
I like that a lot.
Isn't that cool?
That is very cool.
So, like all the hearts that I cut out, I saved the
Can you make me a pair of bibs like that?
Yeah. So I saved the part that I cut out, the heart, and so that's cool. And that's the same. I did some me and mini me aprons, so where it's an adult apron and a kid's apron, and also like one piece of the heart on one apron that matches the fabric, and then also the outline of the heart on the others.
That's cool.
So they're like,
yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah. So
you are very talented.
Thank you.
Yeah. That is something that's lost in society, is making your own clothes. Like people just can't do it anymore. That quilting and knitting and stuff like that, people just don't do it anymore. My wife does. My wife likes to make quilts and stuff. She's very good at that. But it's just those things are gone. They're lost.
If you look at Gail's channel and Simply Jan's channel, they both have an apron from me.
Okay.
So, and they're none of them are exactly the same because I pick different. I fray around all the pockets,
right,
and stitch it so it looks a little
worn,
vintage.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Right, I think those look great, and that skirt right there, that should win the fair. That should win. If I was a judge at the fair and I seen that, it wouldn't matter if they had Janet Jackson's last performing outfit there. That skirt was going to win.
I agree with you. That really turned out super cool.
That thing is awesome.
I watch a lot of videos and stuff like that and see how people do different things. And I'm like, you know, or you've got to pay $29.99 for, a digital copy of the, I'll just wing it. I made Jan a little handbag out of bee fabric. Super duper cute. She's got that on video too. You'll never see anything like that in your life.
I'll have to check that out too.
I'm like selling myself out. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I bought some coveralls at Walmart the other day for $20. I thought, oh, that's a good deal, right?
Right.
But a lot of times, like their shorts and stuff like that are too short for me.
Right.
Well, these ones had already
holes
in the knees. Well, I don't like that already. I didn't do it yet.
Right.
If I did it, something different. So I'm going to put some kind of bee fabric or something inside.
That's cool.
Like you'll see it all ripped and tattered, but then you'll see like the little fabric that I have. Like,
that's cool.
Yeah. So, and I'm working on a little white vanity that I had in my garage. I used to before the vid repurpose furniture.
Okay.
And, like, repaint them and make them new knobs and whatever stuff. Had a little place at a little thrift store that I did, and then the vid happened and rules got wacky, so I stopped doing it.
Yep.
But I have my last live, I was working on a vanity where I have some sheet music from 1901, and I'm putting the sheets on top of the vanity top. And then so on Thursday, they wanted me to not finish it by myself. They wanted me to finish it live with them.
Right.
So we're also going to be attaching this fabric around the mirror frame in the front of the drawer. And then
where'd you get that?
This fabric?
Yeah.
Joann's fabric
Okay.
store.
We got a Joann's here.
Yeah, isn't that beautiful?
That is really pretty. I was thinking about some like kitchen whatever my wife calls them things. I call them
the hot pot pat. Like you can do your whole kitchen.
Right.
This.
Yep. That would be pretty.
So with the sheet music, I've got it cut in different shapes on the top of the vanity, right?
Right.
I cut out like the chicken and like the different flowers and stuff like that. And I'm going to put those randomly on the sheet music.
That'll look good. That'll look very good.
Right? So I'm excited. That's cute. What am I going to do with it? I don't know. I have no idea.
Sell it, keep it.
Yeah.
Enter it into the fair too.
I did a antique chair that had the spindles on the back. Like it was an old chair. And I took sheet music and I covered you can't really see. I covered the spindles with sheet music.
Right.
And did like the legs and stuff like that and painted it black. And then I took sandpaper and roughed it up. And then I sealed all of it. So cute. It's sold like that.
I guarantee it. Like people love repurposed things.
Something different. It was all repurposed.
Unique, you know. So and that allows us, the people who create that stuff to be creative, right? And people love that stuff. I mean, they gobble it up. So we've tried that with several different things, and it's always sold. We just don't know where to find all of it at. Like what do you do? Go to thrift stores and buy it? I mean, Salvation Army or what?
Garage sales.
Okay.
Estate sales. Sometimes they'll have prices on things, but like typically at estate sales, people don't buy bedroom furniture unless it's really special bedroom furniture.
Right.
Beds too, like headboards and footboards. I used an antique wooden headboard and footboard that was carved with the wooden spindles, the old wooden ones, and made benches out of them.
That's cool.
Just like that. Yep. And now I'm like, I need one. Now I don't have the thingy. But yeah, I like doing that. I recently did a live making my own bird bath out of rhubarb leaves and cement.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I have a bunch of pieces, and one of the pieces that I did has like a little hole from a stem. And I'm like, oh, perfect. It's smaller and it kind of goes like this, and it has a hole, and then there's a bigger leaf and then a bigger leaf. And I'm like, oh, I can, use a tank pump thing. And so that's might be cool. Another thing, but I don't know. I carried on. Anyway, so
you're good.
More sewing. I'm going to try to do some different holiday event things and stuff like that where I can bring some of the stuff that I make. I make animal earrings out of faux leather, like horses and chickens. And
right. That's cool.
I do a lot of different things. I'm sorry.
You got a lot of different little hobbies, don't you?
Yeah, I do a lot.
Stay very, very busy, it sounds like.
Mm-hmm. I do.
That's fun, though. As long as you're enjoying it. And that's what I was telling the family. I said, listen, as long as we're enjoying it and we're having fun with it, that's all that matters. If it makes a little bit of money along the way, great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we have to make it. It has to be fun. Because if it's not fun and it's not enjoyable, there's no sense in us doing it.
Yeah. Like I like it. My whole dining room table's covered with fabric right now because my craft room is not ready to. Well, I've got a pantry, craft room, some more seeds that I started. Well, through the years that we've been here, I've had a kid in there. And then a kid moved somewhere else in the house, or moved out, and like a kid in there, a kid out, a kid in. And every time I tried to get my craft room set up, they would throw it in bags and boxes. And
I understand.
So I'm trying to get that done before this fall so we can Yeah, I do have some videos of this stuff. Yep.
She is a multi-talented person.
Yeah, I do lots of things. It's hard to, I don't know how you define me.
As a multi-talented person. That's exactly how you define you.
Gil.
Hey, Gil.
Yeah. I've always been crafty. And then, like I told you when you were asking me, like, why am I doing the land and stuff like that? Like, I don't know. I think it all ties together.
Right. Oh, and it does. This is how our grandparents lived. This is how we should be living. If you think about this, there is no reason why. I can remember my grandpa, grandmas, even my mom and dad talk about they wore clothes till they wore them out. And if they didn't wear them out, the kid below them wore them out. And if that kid didn't wear them out, the kid below them wore it out. It got passed around until it was completely useless. And then it got refurbished, because grandma or mommy or somebody would repurpose it in some way, shape, or form.
And that's what it was harder with my kids. I had 4 of my biological kids, but it was girl, boy, girl, boy. And the youngest one is 15 years younger than the oldest.
Oh, wow.
Girl.
Right.
So, like, saving clothes for that long was like,
no way. Right.
Yeah. And then I was an only child, so I did not experience that, but I had a lot of friends who had large families and stuff, like, so I know.
Right.
And like, I always did collections. Like, I've had foster kids, and we've done a lot of collections for different groups and things like that. Like, I know.
Right.
And like, I thrift shop. I mean, like, my sweater right here.
Right. I like that. It's a nice sweater.
There's no holes or stains. I got it for $2 at a thrift store.
You can't beat that.
Yeah, I'm cheap. I'm frugal. I have a lot of crap, but I'm frugal.
Right. It's not called cheap. It's called frugal. And you have to be, especially today's society. You got to be frugal, because if you ain't, you're going to go broke real fast.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
for sure. So, you ain't got anything else coming up this year?
I'm doing fair. I was asked to be the superintendent of the ag food building at the fairgrounds.
That's cool.
And so I'm in charge of cleaning it up, doing touch-up painting, adjusting signage, decorations. So I have to go find volunteers and decor and flowers and volunteers. And I get to label and tag everybody's entries, canning stuff, wine, beer, kombucha, fresh veggies. Like, I get to organize. I have to tag and label all of it, and put it in specific spots so that it's organized.
Right.
And so that's for the first 2 days, Monday and a Tuesday, that people just keep coming and bringing whatever they want. Scarecrows too.
Cool.
Yeah, so I have to organize that, and then some judges come around Tuesday evening and judge all the stuff. I don't judge it, but I get to put all the ribbons on them.
There you go.
They mark who's like first, second, third, and I get to go around and put the ribbons on. It was so cool. I've never seen so many ribbons.
That's cool.
They have boxes of ribbons, but you got to remember there's buildings
right
for everything.
When is y'all's fair?
It's the 15th through 21st
of this month.
Yeah.
What? That's super early. Ours is not. I thought ours was early because it's the first. It's like the first part of August is whenever ours is. Like, yeah, it starts second week of August and goes through to the end. And I thought that was like a super early, fair. But Yeah, and North Carolina's state fair is in October.
Huh.
It starts
I don't
October
know when
8th.
our state fair is.
Oh, this is not your
Ours
state
is
fair?
in
This is your
no, it's a
oh, okay.
county fair.
Oh, okay.
The state fair, I feel like end of August, beginning of September, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
But
Like
that's in Salem. I don't want to go there. That's I don't want to go.
That's funny. I like state fairs. State fairs are fun. There's not really that many county fairs here in West Virginia. We only have like
we don't
2
have
or 3. Yeah.
There's not many.
Yeah, it's very weird. You would think every county would want to have a county fair, but they don't.
Yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot
It
to
is.
put together.
It
so,
is.
And maintenance and stuff like that of the buildings and all that.
Yep.
So
a lot of work goes into it, and a lot of money goes into it. And I don't think I think they're on the decline. I don't think fairs are doing as good as they used to.
No, and what's really cool is the people who run this fair, they want to bring it back to the old days. So they've been painting things back, like, cowboys and wagons and, patriotic and stuff like that. So I'm like that. I like that.
That's very cool. Yeah, I like that too.
Mm-hmm.
And they're painting it patriotic, so that skirt should definitely win.
I know. I was thinking about making another one so I can enter that and wear one.
There you go. There you go. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would be cool. That would be very cool.
So.
Well, is there anything that you want to talk about that we might not have touched on?
There's so many things. Yeah. No, just learning and growing, and I'm trying to learn as much as I can, and about gardening and all the things.
So the last question I have for you then is, what got you into YouTube?
So in the end of 2019, I went on to YouTube for my first time to explore, some information, to find out some information of what was going on. Because I felt like there was something going on. Well, right. I found my answer before the madness.
Crazy. Right.
Yeah. And so then I just kept watching it, but like my kids and different friends and stuff, oh, you should start before I even started watching it. And I'm like, I don't even know really what that is. I don't know. But so then I started watching it. And so a little over a year ago, I finally just did it.
Right.
Yep. So I was scared. I was nervous. I was like, what do I have to offer? Everybody does cooking.
A whole lot.
Does gardening. Everybody does all these things. And like,
You got a whole lot to offer. So there's a ton there that they can watch and learn from. I'm amazed at all the stuff that you do. I mean, that is a lot of different things that you do. And to have all that knowledge and skill in your wheelhouse, in one person's wheelhouse, is incredible, because the majority of the time, like, I can garden, I can do a little bit of homesteading with the animals, right? But I can't do all that stuff that you do. That is incredible. I mean, like, to have that much knowledge.
I don't think of that. Like, at the end of my day, I'm like, gosh, I should have done more. And I should have gotten more done. I feel like I got nothing done.
I think that's all of us.
Yeah. And then when, like, my husband's like, well, what did you do today? And I'm like, what did I do today? And I name off like a couple of things, like I dug compost, I made another 30-foot raspberry row and planted 30 raspberries and this and that and blah, blah, blah. So
it's a lot.
I caught another bee swarm this morning, or this,
Right. Homesteading is a lot. Homesteading is a I don't think people who don't homestead have no idea how hard it is and how much work it is. My 21-year-old, for example, he didn't understand.
It's okay.
He had no clue, right? What it took,
Right. I was different when I was 21, though.
Right.
Because I was married at 23. I just had my 26-year anniversary. I've been married longer. How do you say it? More than half my life. Yeah.
Right. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think they understand because, he's like, you're out here all day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All day.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because it's work. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
I
got things to do. Well, why haven't you, like my husband used to like at first was like, well, why can't you just finish doing that one thing that you were working on? And I'm like, because I had this and this and this and this. And if I worked on that all day or all week long, all these things are going to get out of hand.
And get piled up on you.
Right. And like when I'm cooking and food falls on the floor in a video, I'm like, whoops, that's a goner. Or,
right.
It's a mess over there. Or there's weeds. I'm doing a garden tour and you see all my weeds.
Right. Well, it's like mine. I was out there weeding all day today and all I got done was 3 patches. And I'm like, there's still all this rest of this.
Yeah.
So I told the 21-year-old, I said, guess what? Tomorrow, you know what we're doing?
You're helping.
Weeding.
You're helping me. But will this be his first garden season with you?
Yeah.
So he's going to get to see the rewards.
Well, he won't because he's leaving for the Army before he gets to see the rewards.
Well, you're going to have to keep sending him lots of pictures.
Yep. So, yeah, he'll be gone. But
send him some seeds, on a letter.
Yeah.
Tomato seeds.
There you go. Yeah. Maybe we can do those remember those scratch and sniff stickers when we was kids? Anyways, yeah. Maybe we can make some stickers like that. Here, smell the tomatoes. Yep. Smell the jam that we made, or smell this, or smell that. Yeah.
Well, you could take some tomato leaves and put them in dry them out.
Right.
And put them in a little envelope or a jar, and I bet you they'll still
smell like it. Yeah.
Like it smells good. Yep. I like it. Maybe not every day.
I do too. I like whenever I'm out there watering them. For whatever reason, when you water tomatoes, they put off a real strong smell, And so I'll be out there watering, and I'm like, oh, I love that smell. My wife's like, that smells disgusting. And I was like, no, it don't. It smells great to me.
We made what was it? 2 seasons ago, a cattle panel hoop house. And it's pretty long, and I often plant my tomatoes or my bell pepper, depending on what year, in there. Right. Well, last year I was going through there and, doing a little weeding and pruning and whatnot. And by the time I come out, I was pollinated. From head to toe, I was yellow.
That's funny.
And it was caked on my fingers, caked. Because I planted 125 tomato plants last year.
Whew. That's a lot.
Yeah.
I plant a lot too.
I'll show you the one that I have that I brought in. I grew it in a pot, and I brought it inside last fall.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
And I was afraid to bring it outside because maybe it would die, like the spring. So I'm like, right. I'm okay with it with an indoor tomato plant.
Right.
It's got more flowers, and I've got 3 or 4 tomatoes I can pick this week.
Do you just keep pruning it back and it just keeps putting off suckers, or what?
I've trimmed a few off, but I just water it every couple of days.
Huh. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I should name it.
You should name it.
Right?
You should name it.
That I should do a thing on my
a poll.
Yeah.
And have different names up and see which one wins.
Yeah.
Yep.
That would be fun.
That would be very fun. You should do that.
When you smell it, she can smell it.
Yep.
Oh, you must have been out gardening. Yeah, happy Independence Day tomorrow. I'm with Gail and Life from the Piedmont. We are doing this craft and mingle thing together
cool.
where we're all crafting.
Right.
So we're doing that, and then I do my lives on Thursdays.
Cool. So you're doing yours on Independence Day then?
Yes, I am. Well, mine's early, so everybody will, be going after they watch my live to their whatevers.
Okay.
And that's the vanity one, so you might not want to miss.
Awesome. I'll try to get in there. See, I got to see what we got going on that day. So, because I legit don't know. This is the first time I don't know what I'm doing for the 4th of July. So I don't know what we're doing.
We typically stay home, and if we put our lawn chairs in the driveway, we can see from all the big towns all around, all the big ones.
Fireworks.
Yeah.
I typically let off fireworks. I'm the nuisance in the neighborhood.
Well, we used to live in a cul-de-sac, and we were the 4th of July. We got the legal fireworks.
Right.
And we had like potluck, and everybody just like people would be lined up outside the cul-de-sac watching the show. Like it was cool. Amazing. We did that for 13 years. But now we've got, farmland and farm animals and stuff, so we don't do that.
Yeah. I blow it up. I'm the one that makes your dogs run inside and hide. Yeah. I get the loudest thing possible. Hey, listen. For a long time, I used to say, "Oh, I hate whenever they let them fireworks off," because whenever I come back from Iraq, I didn't like all that loud noise and stuff. And I said, "You know what? I'm going to get over this because I'm just going to join in with them." So
my husband did. I don't know what kind of metal he used. He made a plate, like this big sheet metal,
right?
And he made a tube that was angled just so,
right?
Like rockets. So
there you go.
So you could, it was like a stand, so you could,
light it would rock, yeah.
So you didn't have to like hold it or whatever.
Oh, holding it's fun though, because then you can aim them. Yeah. We used to play bottle rocket war and everything. We'd shoot bottle rockets at each other, shoot Roman candles at each other. One time I shot a mortar at one of them.
No, now like since we've been here, I'll get the kids like the big sparklers, those ginormous sparklers. Right. And I'll have a bucket of water. I'm like, put it in there. And then the pop rocks. But we'll go to another town and they'll have a firework display.
That's cool.
So
that's cool. The only thing I asked for this year was make sure I got banana pudding. That's the only thing I asked for.
Oh my gosh, I had some. Holy, so we were invited to someone my husband works with. Him and his wife do a lot of outreach and volunteer stuff. And they do a lot of stuff for this organization that helps like alcoholics and stuff like that recover. And there was quite a lot of people that were in this group, and they did a barbecue. And they had deep fried salmon, deep fried cod, coconut shrimp, holy smokes, and they had banana pudding. And I'm like, ugh! I went back for seconds.
There is nothing on earth better than banana pudding. And nobody will change my mind.
So good. Yes. I love the donuts with the cream. I don't know what it is, like banana pudding or tapioca, not tapioca, but vanilla pudding or something in the donut.
Yeah. Those are good.
Now we all want donuts and pie.
Yeah. I think I'm just hungry.
Yeah. So yeah, just lots of projects, putting together that farm stand and sewing and
having fun
videos,
right?
And yeah, hopefully I'll be able to get the goat bred this fall so I can have little baby goat cheese.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh, and I will be milking my Dexter cow. I'm going to wait until August because I've got the fair, and then my dad from Florida is coming the last 2 weeks of July from Florida to visit here.
That's cool.
And I'm going to be doing an interview. He's a Vietnam vet.
That's cool.
And he's like, oh, I'll do an interview. He's used to doing talks and stuff like that. I just have to tell him what the no rules are.
Right. So that'll be cool. I'll have to check that out too.
Yeah. Yeah.
That'd be
So
very
I don't know what day yet. We'll go off of, how he wants, I don't want to,
right.
so we'll see.
That'd be very cool.
Yeah. So that'll probably be sometime at the end of July.
I have to definitely check that out because
Yeah.
I like Vietnam vets. They're I've
Yeah.
always liked
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. And I always forget what it's called. Oh, chaplain. He's a chaplain.
That's
So
cool.
he does that. And he's in quite a few different groups of guys, vet friends and stuff like that. They go to dinner and lunch and
Right.
all kinds of things. So, yeah.
Veterans are very tight knit.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
that's who I went fish. I go fishing every Monday with my vet buddies. So we get up early in the morning and we go fishing till 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So we just.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that maybe he could start off like growing up, like in Portland or in Oregon, like
right.
a little, like not too much detail, and then a little bit about his experience, but not too much detail because I don't want,
Yeah.
And then maybe talking about like some of the things today without too much detail versus back, when he was younger, like milk prices or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, I'll have a few questions in case I need to redirect.
Right.
And change the subject. Because I don't want him to get sad or something, or.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's
my
pretty
experience. My experience with a lot of the Vietnam veterans is they've gotten to a point in their life where talking about it is more healing than it is bothersome to them, and a lot of times they've already talked about it enough to where it doesn't really make them sad. They want to share that experience, so people understand more. So.
Well, and he never talked about it all my growing up.
Yeah.
Like I knew he was on a carrier ship. He was in the Navy. I knew that stuff and had seen some pictures, but he really didn't talk about it.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot. But
right.
I don't want him to go into the details.
My wife is always
unless he wants to, I guess.
I'm getting to where the younger ones are asking questions like, how come mommy tells us not to wake you up, and stuff, so that sucks.
Yeah, he didn't know he had PTSD until I think about 15 years ago. And he's 79 now. So
it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. And his battle with Agent Orange and
that stuff was some nasty stuff.
So yeah. So
it'll be interesting getting to hear it.
Done a lot of talks like at school, elementary schools, high schools, colleges. Like he was the voice for I don't know if you remember the tire company Yokohama Mama. Mama. My dad was the first original voice.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
I grew up, he had a tire business. So I grew up around the
the air impacts. Yeah.
He just owned it.
Right.
Like he had the business and we were in Alaska. So it was like tires and stuff like that. So
that's cool. That's very cool. Well, I can't wait to hear this interview. That'll be a good one. That'll be a very, very good one.
Yeah, I thought it would be fun. And so
tell everybody where they can find you at. Are you just on YouTube or you got other places you're at?
I've got a YouTube channel I got a YouTube channel and a Facebook page. I just primarily on the Facebook page just post videos on there. I don't interact with anybody over there. Just here. And if you look me up, there's a Z on the end instead of an S. Right.
That's right.
Well, because when I was on YouTube, before I started my page, I didn't know I could use my page and turn it into a creator's page.
Right.
So I started a new one. And so I have, well, now I consider it a backup page if I need it.
Right. There you
I
go.
didn't know that then. I just didn't know what I was doing. And so that's why I added the Z. So
Right.
it differentiate from my name I was using when I was watching everybody's channels.
Right. I made the same mistake on Facebook, so don't feel bad.
Yeah. And now I'm like, it's a backup page.
There you go.
Yeah. So still learning. There's lots of things to learn in all different areas.
You got that. We never stop learning. Never.
Yeah. I hear people say if you don't use it, you lose it.
That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes. I'm using everything I got.
You definitely are, for sure. So I'm going to go over the dates we got coming up here. So July 9th, which is next week, we got Flourish Florida Farm. July 16th, we got Big Valley Living. July 23rd, we got Where to Begin Homestead. July 30th, we got Emmett Andrews, who is a giant pumpkin grower. August 6th, we've got Texas Garden Guy, who's destined note. Go check him out as well. August 13th, we got Angela from the Inquisitive Farm Wife. August 30th, we got another giant grower, Cameron Barron. August 27th, we got Gillum Farm. So Mr. Gillum's going to be here with us.
Oh.
September 3rd, September 10th, I'm trying to figure out which date. We're going to have Professor Toto. I don't know. You know who Professor Toto is?
I don't.
He teaches the conservative college over. You have to go, and he had his channel removed by YouTube over a lot of things that happened in 2020. And he's now under the name Shane Vaughn. So go check him out. He had over 250,000 subscribers, and he was growing very, very quickly because he taught conservative principles on the Constitution. And he's been right about everything that he said about the elections and everything. Everything he said has been proven to be a fact. He'll say it weeks ahead of time, and it ends up happening. So he's very, very smart when it comes to with the Constitution and stuff. But we're trying to get him on September 3rd, September 10th. He's a really busy guy, but he said he would come on. So one of those 2 days, we're going to get him on. September 17th. Yeah, it is very cool. September 17th, we got Yogi Hollow Farms. September 24th, we got Vikram, the plant professor. September 30th, we got Joe from Garden State Gardening. October 8th, we've got Ken Somerville. October 15th, we've got Rooted in Texas, so Nina and Boyce will be with us. October 22nd, we got Adrian, the Indiana Backyard Gardener. October 29th is open. November 5th, we've got Enoch Graham, the Urban Gardener. November 12th through the 26th is open. December 3rd through the 31st is open. So if anyone would like to come on the live stream, feel free to email me at babydrill2119@yahoo.com, and we will get you lined up to be on the live stream. Just be sure you put live stream in the subject so I know what it is and won't be spammed or something like that. Or if it's
good getting all the
I'm trying to hurry up and get it filled so I can start working on 2025.
Wow, that's good. That's good.
Because I want to be ahead.
Me and Gail from Gail's Southern Living, you know Gail.
Yep.
We're gonna be starting a series doing it twice a month, where we're going to be questioning channels that have 5,000 plus subscribers.
Right.
So that way we can help answer how they got there.
That'd be cool.
How do you think it worked for, stuff like that? So we can help other channels that have, that are under that.
Right.
Like
that'd be great.
Or things like that. So we're going to be doing that.
Awesome.
So hopefully we can help some people and even ourselves.
You're right. Right. Absolutely. Well, that's what it's about. It's about making community. It's about making friends. It's about helping one another. That's what this whole thing's about. It's not about me. It's not about it's just about helping each other. I have made more good friends on YouTube than I have just
in real
right
life.
Here. Yeah.
Exactly. If you ask me if I have any friends, no, not really.
Right.
Not
right.
No, not really.
Yep. So but on YouTube, I've got tons of friends.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, they are more like family. I have gotten more cards from people and stuff, just, hey, wanted to tell you, say that we're thinking of you, or, Hope you're doing good or whatever, right? And I'm just like, hey, thank you, man. Like that means a
Clouds
lot.
and the sun that's making the lighting.
I,
The lighting
I understand. I understand. But yeah, I mean it's a really good community, and I'm thankful that I'm a part of it. So
Yeah, I mean, there's a few out there, but I think there's way more good.
yep, absolutely.
Yeah,
And that's with everything. There's way more good than there is bad in everything.
yeah, yeah.
So
You just got to see the light.
that's right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, it's been a good place to be. Do you got anything else you want to drop on them, or
No, but I'm looking forward to more of your metal detecting stuff.
So I talked to my buddy.
Mhm.
Let me see, and we're going to try to go maybe tomorrow. And if we can't go tomorrow, it will be one day this week. This is something I haven't told anybody yet, but July 18th, 19th, something like this, on that Friday of the 18th, 19th, we're going to go camping on the river Friday night, Saturday night. We're going to metal detect Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. All right. And sift for arrowheads and Indian artifacts, but we're also going to be metal detecting on the river. And we're going to be catching our own food.
So is this like maybe a no one like campsite or crossing?
So we have been trying to do our best research to find the area to go to with the most known activity. Yeah. The problem is where I wanted to go has now been classified as a national park. And you can't do that in a national park. The other part of this is that there is personal property owned within the national park that I am allowed to do that on, that are pretty large swaths of land, but the National Park Service will not turn over the maps to me. And so now I have to go through the Freedom of Information Act to get the maps so that I can go to these personal properties and ask for permission to metal detect on them and know my boundaries within those personal properties.
Right. So like within my town in my county, like the whole Lewis and Clark Trail, like that's like a big thing in every single school all year round. It seems like here. But they wrote journals, both of them did, and some of the other people. And they it's just really cool to read back. They came through my area twice and like reading like what they saw and what it was like.
Right.
From a couple hundred years ago, like that to me kind of cool, you know.
So,
but also like at like some of the historical, like maybe different places, like the courthouse has a museum, and like a few different places have museum. Maybe they have some ledgers or things like that.
It's not really like for the property to get on. It's not really like known like that. Like there's like I know some of the people that own the personal property. The problem is they know what they think is their boundary. Okay. But because it's mountain valley living, like and erosion and stuff, you know, and the way the river can change, you know what I mean? They're not sure of the boundary anymore. Well, the National Park Service has the boundary maps because they have enough money to pay for surveying. You know what I mean? So they surveyed and you know and done it. So the good maps, the maps that are up to date, I guess you could say, kind of tell you more about where you shouldn't be. Because here's the thing: I can get permission for the land, but the landowner don't really know the boundary. Well, then if I'm caught somewhere that I shouldn't be, then it's a $10,000 to $20,000 fine plus jail time. Yeah. You know, and so it's just not worth it. So we thought about, instead of doing that 21 to 23 mile strip of area, instead of doing that, either it's the New River Gorge is what we're wanting to do. The New River Gorge is like the second oldest. The New River is the second oldest river in the world outside of the Nile. Yeah, the Nile River's oldest, and then the New River's the second oldest. Both of them flow north, and so we were wanting to do that river. Well, it flows from North Carolina all the way up through into Virginia, into West Virginia, and then ends up meeting up with the Gauley River. And when it meets the Gauley River, it turns into the Kanawha River and flows up to the Ohio, and then the Ohio Canal meet together and then turn into something I can't remember. Anyhow,
that's a good memory though, that far.
Right. So what we were wanting to do was do that section because that's where we live, the 23 section. But if we can't do that, then what we want to do is either drop below it, and do below where the national park is, still the New River, but just below it, or go above it, which ends up getting out of the New River into the canal, still the same river, because it the only reason why they changed the name was because the Gauley flowed into it and changed it into the canal. It's still New River. Yeah. So everything that would flow through is still getting pushed downstream.
Well, they had scouts, of several that would go different areas a lot of times, following the river to make sure and if they had horses, had water. So
the things that we're looking for is Civil War artifacts, old ferry artifacts, from like ferrying and stuff like that. The people drop stuff all the time. And probably would find some Revolutionary artifacts, kind of borderline, you know what I mean? Because they really wasn't pushing this far. They did, but they didn't.
Had like a coin purse or
So right. So you don't. There's not a lot of Revolutionary War stuff that you get found in this area. There is some 1812 stuff that gets found. And I do know, like, even here we have 1812 soldiers that were buried here. We have Indian War soldiers that were buried here, which was after the War of 1812. And then we have Civil War soldiers that were buried here and stuff. So we're kind of looking for those things and lots of different Indian artifacts. Buttons and bullets and, coins and stuff like that. Whatever.
You might find spurs and boot tips and things.
Cool. That would be very cool. Yeah. Right? Buckles, shoe buckles and horse buckles and stuff like that. We're looking for that. And then we want to do sifting to look for the arrowheads and stuff like that,
And some gold.
Yeah.
Have you ever panned for gold?
No, I've never done that.
Oh, you need to.
They have gold. Like, there's guys who have found gold here in West Virginia. Like, it's not large numbers of it. Like, there's small quartz veins and stuff that run, and they'll find it in just about any creek they go to, but for no more than what they're getting, I don't know that it's worth panning for.
Well, I know there was one place in Alaska when I was a kid we went to, and it was an old gold mining town that nobody lived in anymore, but they made it into a gold mining touristy thing, and they filled like little fake gold specks into the water, so you could kind of have the experience of getting it, but it was like fool's gold, just for the fun of it.
That's cool.
But it's really cool. Anyway,
I always wanted to kind of do it. And I've even looked up YouTube videos to have these like little small sleuths, like 5-6 inches wide, and I've looked into all that and thinking, just go out to any old river, because every river that is here, even creeks that are here, have got gold in them. Like, there's one guy, he's called West Virginia something another miner, and he literally goes to just any old creek in West Virginia and pulls gold out of it. Like, and he's got these little sleuth boxes and stuff. He's not pulling a ton out of it. The majority of it that he gets is not measurable amounts of gold, like in the pan. Like, he literally has to like do so many different cleanings of these mats that he has in the sleuth boxes and stuff like that. And then he'll get like I don't know, 1/10 of a gram or something like that. But it's you're working like 4 or 5 hours to get 1/10 of a gram. That's I just don't know that. But sometimes he hits it. Sometimes he hits it really good, and he'll find a nugget, or
And that's why he keeps doing that.
Yep. That's why he keeps doing it.
Have you ever watched Curse of Oak Island?
Oh yeah, I used to be hooked on that show, but I figured after 8 seasons and not finding anything, I just kind of quit.
Well, I found it very fascinating.
Right.
Of like Samuel Ball and his legacy of being a cabbage grower, and then all of a sudden buying all this land and islands and stuff like that. You know. And then also like the wood structures, the planks and things like that they found way deep.
Way down, yeah.
I don't know. That's interesting. I mean,
it is very interesting.
I think a lot of people thought they were going to find the big thing. But to me, like the buttons and the coins and the foundation and
that stuff's cool.
Yeah.
Right. I think if it would be me and I was going to do it, just being a old coal mining mind, right? Because that's what I live around, is coal mines.
Yeah.
I would have just mined it like coal. I'd have started digging, and I'd have just mined it like coal. You know, I know it's on an island, but
you know, they got to be careful, you know, that they don't because they had previous people that would just dig it all.
Right.
Well, you can't. You have to go layer by layer for sure, because you're going to miss something.
Right, absolutely.
Up. But yeah, I think it's cool, but we canceled cable, so I don't get to see it anymore.
Get you a fire stick and jailbreak it, and go to, listen here, spend $40. Do yourself a favor, spend $40 on a fire stick, plug it in, then go to YouTube to New Tech Revolution. He puts up new videos all the time. It's easy, step by step, how to jailbreak it. You jailbreak it, you put those little APKs on there, and then you just go on there and type in Oak Island, bloop, pops right up, and you only got to pay for internet, and that's all you got to pay for.
Huh. Interesting.
Yep.
I took notes.
Yep, there you go. Yeah. If you need any help, just let me know, and I'll help you.
Okay. So I like watching this channel called The Pethricks.
Right.
And they bought a chateau and a convent in France.
Oh wow.
And they're from England, and they it's historical.
Right.
Like, so cool. Like they're redoing it and trying to keep the original beams, and I don't know, it's just I like that stuff.
That's cool. That's
yeah. And then like the guy goes and buys like vintage because it's like 250 years old, the convent.
Oh wow.
So they had to do like floor layers, like upon floor layers, and they found cobble floor, which was cool. The original underneath this, like, you know, 1.5 feet, 2 feet of floor structure above like cement and stuff like that.
Right. That is
wild. So cool. Like wallpaper and stuff from like all the wars and things like that.
I love stuff like that. Yeah. History to me is amazing, and I love it.
Yeah, it is. I didn't like it when I was in school, but I don't think they made it as fun as, I don't know.
Right. I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? It's like, so and so did this, blah 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 blah, and so did this, blah blah blah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was. I want to see pictures. I want to see artifacts. I want, you know.
Right. It could have been boring.
Show me the map and you know, let's get a visual here.
There you go. I understand that. Well, I'm gonna have to run off of here and get everybody lined up for bed. But I've enjoyed this. This has been fun. So,
yeah, it was fun.
Yes, it was. But guys, I appreciate you guys, all you guys watching and commenting and everything. You guys have been great this evening. Thank you, Heather, for coming on with us and hanging out. And we had a good time. We'll have to do it again soon.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you end up getting down to the end and you still need somebody,
you can
way under.
All you got to do is say the word, and I'll put you down for a date. That's all you got to do. Just tell me what day you want, and I'll give it to you.
Definitely not this month. Right.
Right. I'll email you the list, and you can tell me what day you want, and I'll get you back on here.
Okay.
Because I enjoy talking to you.
Yeah, that was fun, and maybe I'll have some things accomplished that we talked about today.
And a ribbon for that daggone skirt.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
There you go.
Right.
So, All right, guys. Well, I appreciate all you guys watching, and we'll see you next time right here in the hollers and hills of West Virginia. See y'all.
See ya.